this video, we're going to talk about what rucking is and how to progress with your rucking training. So it is just the simple act of walking, but with weights in your backpack. It is that simple, but it is really effective. It's really helped me to lose fat and build some strength and get into a good routine and change my lifestyle and habits. And I try to apply a stoic mindset towards it. So in life you are going to have obstacles and burdens to carry, and rucking is a kind of metaphor for it. It's choosing to pick up the weight and keep walking towards your goals. The reason rucking works for me is because it's a low impact activity that doesn't hurt my knees or any other joints in my body like I used to suffer with sort of these kind of issues when I used to try and do running. And I don't get that with rucking. It's all at a brisk walking pace, but never running for me, just walking as fast as I can with the weight on my back. Because you're carrying the extra weight, your body's having to work against that resistance. So I found it's been good at building strength, strengthens the muscles in my back, my abs, my legs, and just that overall feeling of being able to pick things up that heavy and carry them is easier. Also, second you get to any little bit of a hill or anything, you're going to have to start breathing heavier. So there is a good cardio workout involved. It's not like sprinting, but it can be very intense like that if you go up a very steep hill. In general, I tend to do fairly flat routes, small hills. So I kind of stay in maybe zone 2, sometimes zone 3 cardio. Great for fat burning and endurance because we can do this for a long time. I'm always up for at least an hour, but sometimes 2 or 3. It's great at burning a lot of calories. It burns just as many calories. It burns just as many calories rucking as I would running, sometimes more when I've compared on my Apple Watch. Definitely more than if you were just walking, because if you're carrying the weight on your back, you're having to move that weight from where you start to where you finish. Because you're carrying the extra weight, it requires more energy to do so. So you're going to burn more calories doing rucking than if you were just out walking. Knowing all those benefits, and these are the kind of things that I need if I want to get towards my goal of being a fitter, stronger, healthier person. I like to visualize that person in the future, and because it's so simple, there's nothing really complicated about it. It's kind of easy to see how every step you take is one step closer towards that future version of yourself. Like if you could see it as a long road in front of you, and you knew you just had to walk from the start to the finish, and when you got to the finish you would be the person you want to be. That's kind of true of rucking. I'm just not sure how long the road is, how many times I'm going to need to get out and do this. I'm going to do it, hopefully, just keep going for a long time without giving up. I find it's really easy to work into my daily life, so it's just something I do these days rather than something I'm trying to complete or get to the end of. But there is that sense of every step I take is one step closer towards being that person. And that person is someone who will inevitably keep going and keep looking for progress, or at least maintenance, as we get older. So if you did want to get into rucking, I would recommend, depending on what your fitness level is, and even if you are fit, and maybe if you are fit, maybe you can start somewhere a little bit more advanced. But if you want to go back to the very beginning, let's ensure that at minimum you can actually go out for a 5 kilometer walk without any weight. So if you can't walk for an hour with no weights on your back, just as you are, then you're probably not ready to start adding weight. Most people, I think, can go and walk for 5k or walk for an hour, unless you're very overweight, I suppose. It's hard to judge. See what you can do. If you can manage it, then I think you're ready to start adding weight. And when you start to add weight, it's going to be something like 5 or 10 kilos in your bag, which is probably 5 to 10% of your body weight. Try to sort of stick around 10% of your body weight, I think, but so it doesn't work out perfectly, round it down or round it up. And then just stick with that. Maybe don't do the whole 5k, do like 3 kilometers with the weight, see how it is. Next time do 4 kilometers, next time 5. When you're doing that 5 kilometers with, let's say you started on 10 kilos, stick with that for 2 or 3 weeks. Like, you don't want to make it too hard too fast. Right now you just be building up the habit of always putting the weight in the backpack and going out. When you've been doing it for 2 or 3 weeks and you've stuck with it, then I think you're ready to up the weight by, I would just up it by like 5 kilos or 3 kilos, something that you've got. Depends whether you're putting dumbbells in your bag or whatever it is that you're using to add the extra weight. If you want to do the progress properly, if you want to progress properly, you probably want to do it like this, by adding a little bit of weight and then doing it again for 2 or 3 weeks consistently, and then build it up. And you want to build it up slowly over time until you reach, for me, is 25 kilos. I weigh 88 kilos at the moment, so it's just under a third of my body weight, I think that works out as. I think there's a limit you can reach in terms of how much weight you can carry, because as you can see, my straps on this bag look a bit off, and what it is the weight over the months has been crushing the padding out on this right side. They're done up evenly, it sits on my back fine, it's comfortable to wear, but just whatever happened in the beginning, the padding has been pulling on this side and now it's a bit deformed. I've had this bag a long time now. I originally started rucking and my plan was to, this was a few years ago, was to try and make the most of the 20-minute walks I was doing to the train station. So I had the idea of getting this, and I could make my walks into a workout, and maybe then not have to do running in the evening after work and stuff, if I could double it up. And it's all right in the winter, but by summer, or even when it's just not even that cold, you just find you'd be sweating too much and it'd be uncomfortable. So I stopped doing it. And I kind of abandoned rucking for a while. It never really became a good habit for me, until sort of the last 4 or 5 months when we picked it up again and taking it a bit more seriously. We found ways to fit it into my life that work a bit better than turning up to work drenched in sweat. So, but yeah, during those early days of using it, this is when this strap seems to have gone bad. And I think there's 25 kilos in this backpack. It's probably pushing its limit. I bought it from Force Fitness, and I have had it for years, but yeah, it's got some issues now, which I've only just recently noticed. And then there were some like slight rips on the straps at the top, just from when sometimes you're picking the bag up and it's got a lot of weight in. Unless you're sort of careful with two hands, I've been a bit too quick with it sometimes to pick up the bag on one strap. It kind of started to tear a little bit as well, and I have fixed it by sewing it up with some extra strong thread and needle. So hopefully I don't want to change it too soon. I'll get more use out of it, but at some point, yeah, I'll need a new bag. So I think, could I put another 5 kilos in here? Probably, but the bag's probably gonna struggle with it. Maybe in the future I can find, I'll have to do some research and find something even stronger than this one that can handle it, and then maybe I will progress. But for me, rather than always adding weight, just enjoying being consistent and making this regular walk that I do feel easier, and then looking to challenge myself when I can in other ways by maybe going out for longer, changing the route, as I said. When you are rucking as well, you probably want to make sure that you're walking correctly, because once you add the weight, it is heavy. You kind of want to make sure you're walking upright with your shoulders back and you're concentrating on your posture. It will help to improve your posture, but if it's too heavy for you, you might find like you're really leaning over forward, or you want to keep yourself upright with your shoulders back, head up. It will be tiring, but that's what's going to help you develop those muscles in your upper back. And one other tip would be to really be careful when you're putting the bag on, especially when it's heavy. I have leaned over the wrong way at times with the weight in my hand, trying to pick it up, and kind of tweaked my lower back on occasion, and it's always been all right within a day. But you just don't need to do things like that. I've never had any issues with my back from actually rucking. The only issues I've ever had is when I've been careless in the way I've slung the bag on quickly, and been in a bad position with the weight, and it's caused my back to have an issue. So always just be careful with what you're doing, how you're walking, where you're putting your feet, and how you're walking. And the only other tip I would give for a beginner would be to wear the right shoes as well. Like, I don't always wear sort of like hiking boots. I am at the moment wearing hiking boots, but sometimes I do come out in trainers if it's a sunny day and the ground's dry. Just comfortable kind of walking trainers or running trainers, hiking trainers. I have made the mistake. Sometimes I've left the house in the past and I've just had my Converse on and get down the road, and then you sort of realise, I'm not wearing the right trainers, and I've decided to it'll be fine, I'll just push on. And it's been agony, like loads of blisters. Just something about having the extra weight on and the way you walk. You're already struggling with the weight and having to push yourself mentally, and it just makes it even worse when you're dealing with some sort of issue on your toes, blisters and all that sort of stuff. So you want to make sure that the shoes you walk in are comfortable. But that's it really. A few common sense things. It is simple really, just walking around with a weight on your back, getting a good workout, challenging yourself, and making small steps towards progress. And when it becomes too easy, change something up, make it a little bit harder, and then you're doing it, you're out rucking. The worst thing you can do really is to just rush into it and go too hard, too fast. Day one, going out with the wrong shoes on, too much weight on your backpack, not the right kind of dress or equipment, you know, and absolutely hating it and being in a bad situation and never wanting to do it again. Better off starting with the walking and just progress at your own pace in the way I've described, and it won't take long before you're out 2 or 3 times a week consistently with a heavy weight and you're getting all the benefits from it. And that's all I'm going to talk about today. So thanks for listening. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already subscribed, and see you in the next video.